Hello everyone and welcome back. It's been a little while since the last video and we'll explain all that, but for now we're going to talk about the update announcement that we received. It's going to be coming in a few weeks here and we're going to dive in and kind of examine what we think it's going to include and maybe some of the cool new features that it'll bring. So stay tuned. Before I dive into the update notes, most of you hopefully know that we do now have fishing in Stormworks, so we do have the nets and we do have the fishing rods. So currently there is some kind of, call it recreational fishing, and a level of commercial fishing. Now, I've put out a few videos talking about some of the other types of fishing that could be added to give that a little bit more depth. You know, you'd have a little bit more of variety when it comes to the fishing and crab pots and other stuff, not just the nets. So that is pretty much what is going to be added in the game here soon. If we take a look at the notes, the update announcement is called the Pot and Line Fishing Major Update. And as you can see here, we got a really cool looking crane with some deployables. But what's really neat is that this is the third and final fishing major update. So we know we had the fishing rod, which came first. Later on we got the fishing net, and now we're going to be getting a pot line, as a pot, crab pot, as well as a new line. So what's really neat, first of all, is that the developers have taken the time to make this in increments. We know that there has been some bit of debate with the space update and how it kind of all came out in one go and caused a bunch of issues, whereas this was released in increments. So while it is a major update, it didn't just kind of hit the workshop in one go. So hopefully it is more perfected and works a little bit better from the get-go because of this. We're hoping and anticipating this will be the case. Of course, it's going to come out August 14th, so in a few weeks here. And it says it's going to introduce crab and lobster pots and advanced line fishing. So those are two things that actually, funny enough, I talked about in my video. Others have also talked about in their videos and recommendations to the developers. So I'm quite proud to be a part of that. Now the lobster and crab pots, so it says they can be deployed on the sea floor and will catch crabs and lobsters over time. So this is different than the current fishing style we have, which is the fishing net. This will allow us to actually deploy these crab and lobster pots and then collect them afterwards. So we might even be able to make a fishing ship that can have both the crab pots that we drop, and then we use the nets to catch things and come back. So we can actually make like a multi-use fishing boat. So that's really neat. In my other videos, again, I talk about this in greater detail and the things that can come with crab pots. Then we have the advanced rod and line fishing. Now this is something I talked about since the announcement of the fishing update, before the first one even came out. I said that it would be really neat to have kind of, call it a mini game style, where you have to actually properly catch fish. You don't just catch a fish and then it's yours for good. You have to fight it, you have to reel it in. So as you see now, it says that the fish will now fight back, will attempt to run when hooked. Reeling in too much while the line is under tension can break the line and the fish will escape. So now you actually have to have some skill when it comes to it, and it'll be a little bit of a mini game rather than just a repetitive cast the line, reel in the fish, cast the line, reel in the fish. Now you actually have to do stuff with it. Now, above that, it actually says that there's a new mechanic allowing you to set the float length in order to bait deeper or shallower. So that's also really neat, realistic touch. We now know that depths can have different fish. So if you want a specific catch, you can actually recreationally catch it with your fishing net or fishing rod in lower or shallower, deeper areas. And then this says there's going to be also fixes and improvements, which is great. And of course they say thank you to all the players who suggested these updates. So now with our little fishing boat like the Regal Built Reba, what we can do is we can actually take it out, and eventually what we'll have is the ability to use our fishing rod, as you see here, Now just note the update is not out yet, so in current mechanics, you throw this, and pretty much it bobs around until it catches a fish, and then you press R to reel it in. But what is going to be really neat is now in the future, so you can see there's a fish kind of hanging around. Alright, it's caught. So we just caught a fish. Now, as the game currently stands, if we reel it in, it's just going to come to us. And that's quite as simple. It just comes to us, and we don't have to do anything. We don't have to fight it, we don't have to do absolutely anything, and now we're holding a fish, and we could load it into our fish fridge. But of course, with the advanced fishing rod, what will actually happen is that fish, as it was swimming in that direction, we're going to have to yank it in the other direction. And we're going to have to be careful when reeling it in. Maybe tire the fish out, because if we reel it in too fast, we lose it. So that is more realistic, and it's more aligned and similar to other fishing games and other kind of mini-game style fishing, where you'd see it maybe in Far Cry, Red Dead Redemption, other games like that, survival games, and not only that, fishing games as well. So you can see now the thing is bobbing around. Is there a fish on there? I don't think so. Anyways, we do. We have a clownfish. How cute. So we can put that into our fish fridge as well. And that's a much smaller fish, so much easier to catch. I didn't even see it. But obviously a large fish will require a bit more finesse when pulling it in. So that's going to be a really nice touch for this style of recreational fishing, where we just kind of patiently sit in our boat and wait for something to come in. If we dig into how crab and lobster pots
solid
work,
steel bars.
It's actually quite interesting.
They're very durable, very strong.
Set up differently for each crab species.
Deploying multiple systems. You see lobster, crab, and fish pots, and then you deploy them, and you use GPS to mark off their location, all that stuff, and eventually they will catch this stuff, and you can haul it up. Now you need a strong winch. You need to know where you've put it. And you obviously have to have some kind of thing floating on the top of the surface or bobbing so you can pull it up, or otherwise you have to go down to the bottom and yank it up. So it is an interesting system, and as you can see, it's kind of that deadlies catch style fishing in the Arctic. Really intense, and call it interesting to do, especially when we already have that sort of biome in Stormworks. So from this vessel that I created when I was making my suggestions videos, you can see that these things kind of just dangle off the side. I'd be really curious to see what the pots will look like, if we're going to actually develop them ourselves, or if they're just going to be a pre-made item, kind of like the hoppers. I imagine we'd make them ourselves, but we'll see what ends up coming. And then you have to have the winch to yank it up, and we'll see how long it takes when it's on the bottom of the seafloor to collect the crabs or lobsters. Of course, I will make a video when it comes to that as well, to give you the findings, but until now we can only speculate. So with all that said, I can't wait for this last increment of the fishing update. Stay tuned to find out exactly what it's going to include and how we can use the new inventory items that we receive. So thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for more videos, for more content. Hopefully the pause without my videos wasn't too bad. I anticipate to get back into it quite soon here. And as always, happy Stormworksing, everyone. So some of you may be wondering why I was away. Some of you may actually know, but pretty much what happened.
We got married.
Yeah, we had a beautiful wedding ceremony and everything. It went really well. And officially as of now, we're married. So that's pretty much why I was away. I'd say it's a pretty good reason to make a little bit of a pause here.